Good afternoon from Sedona. I don't know if I've ever really gone into detail on the 1995 Ford F-150 Eddie Bauer edition, but this is an original truck. It is a California truck, LA specifically, and I've got it from the original owner, or the estate of the original owner, and it was bought new at Prestige Ford in, what would it be, anyway, it's a burb of LA. And the gentleman, it's one of these cars where you receive a stack that thick from the window sticker and the delivery invoice to the original owner all the way up until just before I got it. Every oil change, every set of tires, clutch master cylinder, multiple clutches, brakes, you name it, U-joints, power steering pump, and the normal PMIs, tires. This truck has all that's followed it. And when I was looking for an F-150 from this vintage, this could not have been the better candidate because it has the 4.9 liter, better known as the 300 inline six with fuel injection. Now, even though this is actually a very late build 95, it is not OBD2. And one of the ways you can tell, because there was only one year, obviously 1996, OBD2 was rolled out fleet-wide across the north or across the United States, is that you're going to have mass airflow sensors. So the engine, it becomes a volumetric versus speed density system, which all these old Fords from that era were. So there's kind of a wives' tale that the California units for 95 got OBD2. That's just not the case, at least not with this one. It still has its original, people call it OBD1. There really is no such thing. It's just the proprietary EC4 connector, which has the pigtail. And I believe it's a 6-pin connector, kind of a rhomboid-shaped connector. And at this point, you actually did, I believe you could get data stream. There was some more, you got a significant amount of functionality from EC4. Nothing like OBD2. And, this thing does have monitors that run, but they're proprietary. It's got just basically a feedback oxygen sensor. That's pretty much it. And that's okay, because these trucks were amazing. The one disadvantage of this truck is it has the 273 rear axle ratio, which was not uncommon. It's an economy ratio. It just really makes this thing work hard just to get up to speed. And if you have it in high gear in fifth, even you're doing like 75, 80, shit, you're almost doing 60 in third before you upshift to fourth if you're really having to work the thing hard. So I do have a set of 373 gears that are going to go in it. And we'll calibrate the wheel speed or the output shaft speed sensor accordingly to reflect the accurate speed. But you talking about original, other than like you had a new radiator put in it, it's got a new fan clutch at some point in its past, upper and lower hoses, but like the heater hoses are original, the AC compressor's original, and this leads us to this: the alternator's original. And finally, I'm coming home from Ace Hardware, and I've got basically a no charge condition going on. I verified that the alternator is indeed dead. Probably the slip, I've had to guess, because for this era of alternators, the voltage regulator is right here. It's on the back. You can see where my finger's pointed. And there's a pair of slip rings, and that's how the field current energizes the alternator to work. And then you have, diode rectifier assembly, which converts, because this is an alternator, it's an alternating signal. It converts it to a DC. And so you have to rectify the negative wave into a positive wave. And sometimes the diode, GM called it a diode trio, but the rectifier will fail and you'll only get half. So the thing will charge to 12.1, 11.9. This thing's just completely dead. So I am now at kind of a dilemma. I do not like the overseas repops, which are everything now. Power steering, AC compressors, you name it. You can get a new, quote unquote, and it's just an overseas repop, and I'm dubious about their quality. I've been stung too many times. So I will see if Rock lists a reman unit, or I'll just get the regulator, the slip ring brushes, and just overhaul the thing myself, because, this thing's 37 years old and has 159,000 miles on it. I would say an alternator owes us nothing. The power steering pump on it, which is a reman unit, not a repop unit, failed about 2 years ago. No big deal. I went ahead and replaced the pressure hose as well as the suction hose. It's got a new tensioner assembly on it, which, okay, no big deal. The AC compressor is original. This thing has, from all I can tell, the original R134A charge in it, and this thing will freeze you out. But just like everything else, these are just really, really well-made trucks. And you think about it, I paid $4,900, either $5,000 or $4,900 for this thing. And you will never get a truck as good as this one. They, at least in my estimation, I've been doing this for 36 years. So that's why I like these F-150s from the 1980 to 96 era. My favorites are the 87 to 91. I just like the styling and I like the interior. In 94, when non-passenger car versions of motor vehicles in North America, they gained side guard door beams, they gained rollover protection, and this one has the supplemental inflatable restraint or airbag in the driver's side, SRS. These things lost interior room and they became very cramped. That's one of the things I don't like about the 94 through 96s is they got really cramped compared to the earlier versions, especially up to 91, where you had the regular old steering column that's been around since the early 70s. And this thing's got a big bulky steering column. The seat will only go back so far, and it's simply because they had to reinforce this whole capsule to meet safety requirements. And then you have the airbag hardware. That's really the only down I can find on these things. Other than that, I do like the styling. When they came out with this final old body style, they call it an OBS. But the 80 to 96 body, 94, 95, 96 gained, correction, standby, no. It's 92 through 96 gained this front end, which kind of harkens back to the old bullnose 1980 to 1986 version, which is super cool too. But you get this fuel injected engine, no more carburetor. And at that point, the trucks were just perfected. This one was made in Norfolk, Virginia, which made the F-Series truck exclusively up until its final year, I believe in 05, and they just decided to axe the plant, which was interesting because apparently they made the best, if you can define that word, the most well-assembled F-Series pickup. But Ford was being proactive, kind of seeing the storm clouds on the horizon for the coming mega recession, and they started consolidating facilities. And I think it was a popular story at the time. They were mortgaging the furniture in the headquarters building to basically rationalize the company down to a point to where it was sustainable, and as such they didn't have to take government loans, and they didn't go bankrupt. So trucks like this played into the resilience of that company. All right, we're gonna obviously R&R the Alternator. I haven't decided if I'm going to rebuild it myself, which is super easy, or just get a reman unit. If I get a reman unit, I'm going to see if I can get the highest output version they have, just because of reasons. All right, that's about it. It's something about Sedona skies. They just are so incredibly deep blue. And we had a nice little rain event and some snow up in Flag, and everything's just popping super green. We're down here on Oak Creek, which is right over there, and yeah, just a beautiful, amazing place to live, and I drop gratitude bombs repeatedly because it's definitely worthwhile, and I'm very grateful for this. So, and I'm grateful for all of you too. All right, let's push this out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.